A pretty simple debate out there going around, guys. Super curious, as per usual, what your thoughts are on this. We have tons of pro players out there from other esports announcing their shift from that esport to go pro in Valorant. Valorant's still currently in closed beta, as we see a few pro players here and there sign contracts. Well, there's certainly two sides to this story out there. What are these Valorant pros switching for? Right? With nothing established right now, no leagues, no tournaments, no events, the game itself not even officially released, the giant open-ended question is, why are these pro players always already announcing their switch to the game of Valorant? What is there yet? It was actually Golden Boy taking to Twitter that kind of sparked this argument, this debate, and this two-sided story that is, it's pretty simple. As he said, I'm gonna keep it real. I love Valorant, and it's most fun I've had playing an FPS in ages. That said, if you're looking to go pro in Valorant right now, you're just picking at crumbs on the floor. There's nothing in the pipeline that I've heard to warrant the switch for pro players. And obviously, when he said this, he knows that there are pro players who are already signing contracts, and that's the two sides that I look at when it comes time for established pro players who are already being signed and signing the paper, the dotted line for those contracts. You look at the T1 guys, you look at NIP, you look at Sinatra and the Sentinels roster, a few Counter-Strike pros and an Apex guy, and Sinatra being the Overwatch pro for that roster as well. If you're signing a contract, yes, make the switch, announce the switch. That's what it's made for, right? You're being paid already to make the switch for a game in closed beta. The flip side of the coin, though, where I am worried about, where Golden Boy and others are coming from, is why are you announcing this before a pro team has even signed you? Now, obviously, you want to be the first one, like he said, at the table. You want to get your name out there, fully announce, hey, I'm a former so-and-so pro, sign me now. Want to get your name out there, the foot in the door. That makes sense, but it is worrisome for a game that is not there yet, because you leave behind your former esport to move on to something that is not established at all. What I look for is kind of like the Orgless guys from CSGO. They're making the switch, or at least a few of them I think are going to be. You look towards a guy like Psalm from Fortnite. One of the top earners in Fortnite has announced his switch and left behind Fortnite, which, by the way, still has plenty of prize money compared to other esports. Maybe he's a bit tired of being a pro in that very competitive and very tiring scene. And there are many others that have announced their switch and their leaving of their current esport, especially when it comes to the Overwatch and Apex scene. You look towards Overwatch personalities and players like Taimu or Kefri. They've all left behind that past esport to announce their switch to Valorant, and what's there around the corner? Nothing. And so what if you give in that time? What if you give it 2, 3, 4 extended months or periods of time where you made that switch, you gave up your last esport, and then nothing comes of a game like Valorant, or you don't get signed for a game like Valorant? Again, flip the coin back. Obviously, if they're leaving their esport, they're either tired of it, not making enough in that esport, or they want to be that first one to the door of Valorant to be signed and have, the potential to be so. All the ones I've mentioned so far, at least to my knowledge, if it's not a guy like Kefri who already has his stream, he has a stable income while he makes this switch. You look towards the Counter-Strike guys from Orgless, they simply weren't making enough in Counter-Strike, so I'm not really going to blame that move. I think it's very subjective as to the pro players or players out there announcing their switch to a game which has no esports scene yet, and there's going to be very few instances as of right now that I'm going to judge and think, that was a weird one. Maybe Psalm, because he was making so much money after a World Cup appearance, maybe not doing too well, or maybe not wanting to actually compete in the cash cups or the daily cups or the strenuous Fortnite events that are filled with, unprofessionality and uncertainty when it comes to that side of things. And so I'm not really sure, besides him, who I would blame for already announcing the switch, but it still leaves the question out there. Why are pros making this switch, and what are they making the switch for? I think everyone's going to have their own telltale and their own story, and I'm not going to blame anyone as of right now. We're going to keep on breaking down the moves, but I think it's always a great debate and always a great question to ask, a wide community like you guys. What are these pros making the switch for? Because I think they each individually have their own very solid reasons, which is why I'm all the more excited to see who actually keeps on leaving their current esports to join the Valorant side of things. Until next time, hope you guys all enjoy. Drink your water, drink your coffee. For anyone out there wondering what Wawa means, I've seen some comments. Wawa means water. Glad we solved that one. Until next time, bye.